Are you still clinging to the idea that it's okay to mix personal credit cards and business credit cards? Think again. Today, we're diving deep into the undeniable advantages of utilizing business credit cards specifically for entrepreneurs. Business credit cards are not just tools, they can be your financial superpower, especially when it comes to maximizing your travel rewards and benefits. What I'm about to share with you could completely revolutionize your business financial strategy. You're going to learn how the right business credit card can transform your everyday expenses into powerful rewards and pave the way for extraordinary travel experiences, all while ensuring your business thrives. And don't miss the critical bonus tip at the end that could open the door to travel rewards you never knew existed. This isn't just helpful advice, it's essential knowledge that could take your business to the next level. I'm Rich Smith, and I specialize in empowering business owners like you to take control of your financial future. Today, we're joined by credit card expert Ben Hedges, also known as the Credit Shifu. With an impressive YouTube following of over 200,000 subscribers and more than 500,000 monthly views, Ben is the go-to authority here to help you navigate the world of business credit cards. Understanding all the unique benefits of business credit cards can be a game changer for your business. So let's dive into our discussion with Ben Hedges. Let's dive right in. This audience is business owners, and we're trying to get them on the right track. And when we're talking about business credit cards, I wanted to ask the expert, can you explain the importance of using a business credit card over a personal credit card for business expenses?
Sure. Well, you've got separation of business and personal accounts, which is very important as you move on in business and try to get bigger and grow. And so most business credit cards don't report to your personal credit score and credit report unless you miss a payment or accrue some negative information on there. If that happens because you have personal guarantee on a lot of small business credit cards, they will report to your personal. But as long as you keep your accounts in good standing, those balances will not show up on your credit reports from most issuers. Okay, there are some issuers like Capital One, some of their cards do report to personal, not all, some of their business cards, and some of them have changed recently, but most business cards don't report to your personal. And that means you can run up, big balances on business cards. You can max them out for your business and not affect your personal credit score at all.
We're getting all of the problems out of the way in the beginning, if you will. But when it comes to impacting your business finances or that personal credit score, what potentially could happen when you're mixing those business expenses and those personal expenses?
Well, obviously, if you max out a personal credit card for your business, your credit score will go down. Mm-hmm. So I've done tests with personal credit cards. I took a Hilton Amex card that was a $15,000 limit, and I spent $14,000 on it and let it report to the credit bureaus, and my score dropped by 60 points. 60. Just one card, right? So you don't even have to max out all your credit cards. You max out one, your score drops, right? But with some businesses, you might want to get a card that has 0% APR for, say, 18 months and effectively max it out for that whole time and get an interest-free loan. Actually, I've done this. I got the Chase Ink Unlimited for my Airbnb business, $10,000 limit, and I maxed it out almost. No, it was an $11,000 limit, and I spent $10,000 on furniture for my Airbnb and paid it off over a year. So effectively got an interest-free loan. If you did that on a personal credit card, it would tank your credit score. Also, you should keep your business and personal finances separate just for clarity. So when you file your taxes and everything's much clearer with the IRS, and they can't say like, oh, you're putting was this really a business expense? Like it's on your personal card or whatever, if you get audited, So it's much better to keep it all clear.
Business owners specifically for business oftentimes travel, or if they don't find themselves traveling as much as before, perhaps it's for a conference or something that is, semi-annual. So speaking specifically about travel rewards, what are some of the biggest benefits of earning travel rewards for all those business expenses?
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's so much. So basically, I would say the free flights is going to be great, and the ability to book, business class for a way cheaper price than you would otherwise be able to, right? I mean, some businesses, they might be able to send their people economy, but if they had to pay cash, they don't have the budget for business, right? But obviously, it's always nice to be able to send someone business class or for the CEO to be fly business class, so with points, as long as you know how to transfer them out to airlines to get higher value, you can get those business class tickets, fully flat beds on planes. The problem is some people don't understand how to redeem the points. Like they'll redeem them through the travel portal for lower value. So you need to learn how to transfer points out to airline partners and hotels.
Can you share any of those success stories of businesses that have maximized their travel rewards?
Yeah, well, actually, I booked some really great trips where I sort of mixed business with pleasure, and you can do that. And some cards even allow you to take family members on business trips and still have them covered by travel insurances. Like, for example, the Chase Ink Preferred. We went on a company ski trip to Europe, right? A couple of years ago. I think it was, when was it? Oh, it was 2020. It was like February 2020,
Right.
early February, before everything went crazy. And I took my daughter, but I was also with two business associates, and we all went skiing. And actually, on the way back, the flight turned around and flew back to France because of the weather, right, in the UK. We were going to stop in London and then come here. Back to New York. And so I ended up in the south of France having to spend a lot of money on trains and hotels and stuff to get to Paris and then get another flight to come over here. And I claimed on the insurance. I didn't think anything of my daughter would be covered, right, because she's a family member. But actually in the terms and conditions of the Chase Ink Preferred, it said immediate family members of the business owner are covered, right, like children under 18 or a significant other. So that was actually really successful. I know that's not a award, but that's, using one of the insurances. That was actually really successful, use of it, because we got quite a bit of money back for extra flights we had to book and a night in a hotel in Paris and stuff like that.
As we look ahead, I'm thinking of some of these top features of cards. You're mentioning transferring to hotel partners, airline partners. So what are the top features business owners should look for when they're choosing a business credit card? But also, let's keep in mind, they're maybe choosing one that have travel rewards that can be utilized.
Yeah, so I mean, it does really depend on what you're looking for. But if you are looking for, say, economy travel, you might want to do a larger number of trips, but in economy class. Chase cards can always be good because the points are worth more, right? Like if you have the Chase Ink Preferred, the points are worth 1.25 cents per point through the travel portal. And, when you transfer points to an airline, if you try to book economy, the points are generally only worth like maybe a cent or 1.1 cents or something, like on the low end. It's only when you book business and first class you get those like 6 cents per point or 7 cents per point, those high value redemptions. So if you're wanting to book economy, Chase cards I always recommend. Like if you have the Ink Preferred business card, you use them to earn the points, and then you get the Chase Sapphire Reserve, which is a personal card. You can transfer the points over, and it's worth 1.5 cents per point on the Sapphire Reserve. So you get really good value. And because when you book through a travel portal, the points have a fixed value, right? So if you're booking flights, it's 1.5, with Chase, flights or hotels, 1.5 cents per point on the Sapphire Reserve. So yeah, if you're looking for economy, I would say go with Chase. If you're looking for business class or first class flights, then Chase or Amex or Citi, to be honest, or Capital One. But it really depends on what airlines you want as a transfer partner. So British Airways is useful because you can book anyone on Star Alliance. So I've booked American Airlines with British Airways. I've booked Japan Airlines business class with British Airways miles, and done really well and got good redemption rates per point. United can be useful, although they've just devalued a few months ago or half a year ago or so. I forget when it was. I think it was last summer. It was just after I did the United Polaris business class flight. I got it for 60,000 points, and that flight's now 80,000 points. But, devaluations always happen, but they're making it easier to earn points now anyway. The sign-up bonuses are going up. And so, it's kind of inflation, right? Like the flights cost more, but the points are getting easier to earn. So it's kind of the same. So yeah, I would say just look at the transfer partners that they have. And also you need to research it a bit because some transfer partners just aren't good value. Like if you were to transfer Chase points to Marriott, they're only really worth about 85 cents per point, right? Marriott point. So you're actually getting worse value. You might as well book through the Chase travel portal and get higher value. So I see a lot of business owners making these kind of mistakes. Actually, there was one business I talked to who they wanted to ask me about booking flights for one of their managers to Europe. And they were sending him in economy and they were booking like through the travel portal. And I was like, why are you doing that? Like, you could, the same amount of points, if you transferred that to an airline with just a bit more research, you could actually send your guy business class, let him sleep on the plane in a flat bed and arrive refreshed. So yeah, if you don't know how to use the points, it's a really, you're leaving a lot of value on the table.
What I recommend is a backwards by design approach. It probably goes back to my college years. Essentially, it's like, well, where do you want to go? Who has the best first class tickets to get there? And if you can plan ahead, which, you can't always do, then perhaps those are the points you're going to earn with the intention of transferring them. I think some business owners might find themselves, this is kind of a good problem to have. They almost have too many points because they're working so hard in their business. They're not taking leisurely trips or thinking to bring the family to Europe. So I guess this is more of a follow-up question. How do you learn the best airlines to essentially transfer to?
Well, you've got to read blogs and stuff to figure out, which airlines, certain airlines have high taxes, like especially when they fly to certain places. Like any airline that flies to the UK always has high taxes that they often pass on to the traveler. A great tool though, a great tool is point.me, which is a website, point.me. And you can sign up for a subscription. You have to pay. But actually, if you have any Amex card that earns membership rewards points, point.me/Amex, you can use your Amex account to sign in and you get it for free. And it only shows you, though, the ones that are transfer partners of Amex or bookable with Amex points, transferred to different airlines. But it's a great tool because what you can do is you could search, let's say you want to do New York to Paris. You can just search, New York, Paris on their tool, and it will show you all the airlines that you could potentially book if you transferred Amex points out to a certain airline, right? So let's say you transfer Amex points to British Airways and you can book British Airways, American Airlines with those points. You transfer Amex points to Delta. You can also book Delta, but with the Delta points, you can also book Virgin, right? So it'll give you both the airlines that you can book with their own points and the airlines that you can use one airline's points to book another one. And it'll give you a whole list of the different ones that you can book. So that's really a kind of a hack, because the hardest part is finding award availability. Like, you might have the points, but there might not be any flights available on the particular day that you want to go. So that website, point.me, the great thing is it's real-time data. So they're actually showing you real award availability. I'd still double check it on the airline's website, but it's a great tool. The last thing you want to do is transfer your points to an airline and then discover there's no availability on that day and you're screwed, right? Your points are stuck in that airline and you just have to find a way to use them at a later date.
I think we've all been there at some point, especially if you have those specific dates in mind, whether it's the kids have off from school or, you're already going to be there for some other reason. Well, let's move on to just maximizing then. There's strategies out there, and I'm curious what you would recommend to the business owner simply to maximize their rewards, or specifically, if we want to get into it, maximize the travel rewards.
Okay. Yeah, well, first of all, you've got to obviously keep track of all the categories that you are earning points in, right? Like if you have a card that does 4 points per dollar on dining, make sure you're using that for dining. 5 points per dollar on flights, make sure you're using that for flights, so you're getting the maximum. Another thing you can look out for is Amex offers. So with American Express in particular, but actually also Chase now has offers, and I think some of the other banks do too. But the Amex offers are the ones that have been around the longest. And so often you'll find offers that you can add to your card that give you like extra points on this, item or this merchant or whatever, or give you a refund, a statement credit of like a certain amount, like spend 500, get 100 back at, Hilton hotels. If you are going on a business trip and you've got a town that has different brands of hotel and you could choose a Hilton, you might be like, oh, I've got an offer for that. I can get $100 back, because I'm going to spend $500 because I'm going to be there for a few nights. So I might as well, So definitely looking for Amex offers is a great one. Another way to get loads of Amex points is Rakuten. So if you have spending at any of the merchants on Rakuten, which is a website, it's like a rewards portal. You go to their website and you can click through to websites of many other merchants, right? Like Macy's, Dell.com, Samsung, Saks Fifth Avenue, like many stores that are pretty common. Walmart's on there. And you can basically earn extra. Well, it's by default it's cashback, but you can instead choose to redeem it as Amex points. At 1 cent in cashback equals 1 Amex point. So you can earn extra points on top of what you'd normally spend at those stores, right? As long as you have spending at the stores on that site. If you come around to Black Friday, President's Day, any day where there's sales, you'll find Rakuten does ridiculous rates, like 15% cashback / 15 Amex points per dollar on those stores, right? So when I was buying certain appliances for my Airbnb cabin, I used this strategy. So I was using, I think I was using the Business Platinum, and or was it the card? Well, I was using the card. The card I used it was just 1 point per dollar. But I was then shopping in a sale, I think at Best Buy or at Lowe's, I can't remember. But it was like several $100s off because it was like President's Day sale, or it was 4th of July sale, I forget. But then so it was in a sale, and then on top of that, I was getting like 15 Amex points per dollar from Rakuten because I was going to their site first and then clicking through to go to Lowe's or to go to Best Buy. And I bought like a washer and dryer set, which was like already $400 off. And I was getting a huge amount of points on top of it. And I was getting the points that I would already earn on my credit card. So that was stacking like 3 layers of deals, right? And so you can see how many you can stack. If you can get an Amex offer in there as well. I can remember one time I did it at Dell.com. So I had the Amex Business Platinum gives you a $400 per year Dell credit, right? It's split into, I think it's $200 every 6 months, if I remember correctly. Yeah. And I would buy a hard drive for my business from Dell, but I'd do it on a day when there was a sale. And then on top of that, there was also an Amex offer for Dell, which was like spend $100, get $20 back or something. And I was earning what I was normally get on the card. So it was like the Amex points from the card, the $20 back from the Dell Amex offer, the $200 back from the Dell credit, and extra points from Rakuten, 4 layers of deals. So yeah, as a business owner, if you have time to do this, you can stack these deals. If you're willing to wait as well until sales come around, that's also a great strategy. Like buy all the stuff you need in a certain sale.
The story you just told is perfect because you're talking about that deal stacking, which as you learn a little bit more, you're going to look for those, and it just clicks and makes sense. One type of feature of these business credit cards that I wanted to discuss is leveraging that welcome offer, that sign up bonus. So if a business owner sees that flashy headline and wants to potentially open a new card, how can they leverage that or what is the importance of leveraging the sign up bonus, and how can business owners effectively utilize those sign up bonuses?
Sure. So if you get a big bonus, like 100,000 points, right, that could get you a round trip flight to Europe in business class for maybe 100,000 points plus a few $100s in taxes. With welcome bonuses also, you can maximize, like for example, with Chase, their business cards allow you to open a card in your own personal name. So you could open it with your social security number as a business, right? A business card. You could actually open the same card, another one, with an EIN number. So, and then if you have more than one company, you can open another version of the same card with a different EIN. And so actually with Chase, you can have more than one of the same card. My business partner did this actually. I used to be in a company with another guy. And when we both got the Inc. Preferred from our original company, and then we split the company, and I took half the YouTube channels and he took the other half, and we went our own ways. And then he started another company and he opened another Inc. Preferred with the new EIN from his new LLC and got another 100,000 points, right? Which could be another business class trip to, somewhere to Europe. So that's another great way with Chase in particular. Like they allow you to have more than one card of the same card at the same time, as long as it's with either personal SSN and one with EIN or with different EINs.
That's a really important thing for people to think about, because I feel like many people on their entrepreneurial journey have started maybe that business that might have fizzled, and perhaps there's still an old EIN laying around, and maybe it's more of a hobby or a passion project, but you can still utilize a social security number for sole proprietorship, which, if you're filing a Schedule C on your taxes anyway, you might as well utilize that for a business card, especially if you see that right type of offer. Well, we already talked about some of those special offers, and I know there's other promotions, but I'd love to look ahead. And I'm not asking you to have a crystal ball, but I know you have your fingers on the pulse of some things that are coming up. So if we look ahead to the upcoming year, have you heard any rumors? Do you know any news? Something that we could look forward to in terms of business credit cards, travel perks, just anything that would apply to this conversation?
So yeah, well, one of the particular things that, I mean, new cards come out all the time and there are refreshes. Like, for example, American Express is refreshing 40 products this year. And so we've seen a lot of the refreshes already, but there may be a refresh to the Business Platinum, because actually the Dell credit, the Adobe credit, and the other credit on the Business Platinum, they have an end date of the end of this year. So actually afterwards, in theory, they're gone and they probably will be replaced by something. So we may see a refresh on the Business Platinum towards the end of 2024 announced. And then also just like airport lounges, I mean, the competition is really hotting up between the big banks in their airport lounges. So you have American Express, obviously they have the Centurion lounges. You have the new Capital One lounges, which have been really popular. And then you have the new Chase Sapphire lounges. And that's sort of in order from, you know, Amex started first, they have the most lounges. Capital One is kind of second, and Chase is, you know, catching up after them. But they all have loads of lounges planned. And, you know, I don't know if you've been to any of the Chase lounges. They have one in Boston. That was the first one, I think. Then they have one now at JFK. I've been to a lot of Centurion lounges. I really like them, but I like to see the competition, because actually when you have more competition, it just brings everyone up, right? It gets better. And with annual fees rising on credit cards, I think a lot of the companies are really prioritizing like the service, right? People like these fancy lounges and they're getting crowded. So they're building more and more of them to ease that crowding. So I think the competition is going to, you know, show us a lot of cool things in the coming year or two. A lot of new lounges opening up, and a lot of things happening. You know, the way it works with credit cards actually is there's always sweet spots. Like one card has an amazing bonus for a while and then it's making a loss for the bank, so they have to dial it back for a few years and make some money off it. And then another card that wants to stand out, you know, brings in an amazing bonus.
What advice would you give to someone who is going to really sink their teeth into this? They want to learn, they want to adapt to the new changes. They know things like, you know, what advice would you give to somebody who's starting out but hungry to learn?
Well, firstly, follow my YouTube channel. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, Ben Hedges, or the Credit Shifu. You can also look at a load of blogs like Doctor of Credit, The Points Guy, 1 Mile at a Time, View from the Wing. There's a load of, you know, online blogs that cover this stuff. So you need to put yourself sort of through a course where you learn the basics of it. You learn all of the, so you actually know what people are talking about, right? When I got into this, I spent just a few weeks reading a load of articles about it. Some people have like beginner guides for it, and, you know, and then once you've got that base of knowledge, you can then sort of like teach yourself, right? So you start doing some bookings, using your points to do bookings and stuff, and you'll start to notice challenges, right? Like, oh, there's not much award availability. How do I find it? You know, all these people are doing these amazing trips. And then you start to find the tools that you can find you the award availability, or like, oh, I could actually use my points for this other airline that I didn't know about, or whatever. So you start to, there's definitely a process of understanding and, you know, getting a whole picture, like the whole board, and then you can see like all the options you have. So yeah, I mean, I think it just takes a little bit of time to get used to it. And once you have a few trips under your belt, and you will make mistakes along the way. I've made a lot of mistakes actually in the past. For example, I transferred Delta points to Delta and I booked economy, and I thought it was a better deal, but then I didn't realize that my Amex Business Platinum actually gives me a 35% points rebate. And it, because I forgot it was a Business Platinum. The Personal Platinum doesn't have that, but if you book with the Business Platinum through the travel portal using points, you get 35% of the points back, which effectively puts your points value at 1.5 cents per point, right? The amount of points that you actually use. And so it would have saved me like $400 or something worth of points if I'd done that. Also, if you're using Delta points, you might as well get the Delta credit card, right? Because now the Delta credit cards give you a, there's this takeoff 15 promotion, where if you would just hold the Delta credit card, all points redemptions are 15% less points. So it's kind of a no-brainer. If you want to fly Delta and use their points, you get one of the Delta credit cards. You'd get the lowest annual fee one or the free one, but you know, just to get that 15% off, it's kind of a no-brainer. Even if you earn the points from Amex card, like, Amex Platinum or Gold. You didn't even earn the points from the Delta credit card. Just get it so you get that discount.
Wow, what an amazing and insightful discussion with Ben Hedges. Ben, thank you. You can check him out on YouTube at The Credit Shefu. If you are ready to take control of your business finances and unlock the incredible benefits of business credit cards, there's no time to waste. Check out the link in the description to learn more about the best business credit card offers right now. And I want to hear from you, so leave a comment down below on your experience with business credit cards and let me know what topics you'd like to see next on this channel.